Here's another episode of Gathering in Truth with Tanya and Ellie. I'm Tanya and I'm adding Ellie now. Good morning.
Good morning, Tanya. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's nice to see you.
I'm here in my sloth pajamas.
Oh, I love it. Can I see them? Sloths are one of my favorite. Oh, I love it. Adorable. I have sloth socks, but I don't have sloth pajamas. That would be nice.
Very
That's
nice.
perfect. Have you ever seen one in person?
I might have in the Toronto Zoo, but
Mm,
I can't remember for like absolute sure, but I might have.
yeah. I can't remember if the Philadelphia Zoo or the Bronx Zoo, but yeah, they're really amazing. They really do move so slowly. It's like it feels like my spirit animal in a way. Because yeah, at some point I realized that that's how I like to move through life sometimes. It's just with that kind of easing into it. So it's just especially felt like that the last few years where it's just I realized at some point that I don't need to push myself to be doing something all the time.
Yeah.
So I missed you this week. How are you doing? Did you get a lot of rest? I've really gotten used to seeing
Uh,
you midweek. It was like, oh, but I totally understand because like I was
I'm
just saying, when you need rest, you need rest.
I'm still really tired.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie. I don't know, maybe it could be an allergy thing that I'm not used to having or something because my eyes, I didn't really notice till yesterday, but I noticed that I'm digging at my eyes a lot and they're really itchy. And last night, my eyelids and stuff were swollen
Hmm.
and my throat and nose have been really, really like congested. So I'm not sure if this is just a side effect from all that smoke situation we had here for that little
Mm.
while because it came right like during that.
Yeah, that could be it.
Or it's just suddenly I've developed some allergy situation I've never had before, but I feel like it might be related to the smoke situation because that's when it really
Yeah.
came on. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
and
that
just tired,
definitely
really
could.
tired.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the smoke definitely it just seems like that could cause any kind of reaction like that for sure.
Hmm.
So
And Ellie, how's Ellie?
good. Yeah, it's been good here. The air is cleared, so it feels okay to be outside again. And it's been nice and cool, relatively cool for July. It hasn't been super hot or anything, so that's been nice. It's been like cooling down at night.
Hmm.
So that's nice. But it's still nice weather. It's still sunny out and everything. So it's kind of perfect weather. And I have just been trucking, keep on trucking. So,
Tracking, keep on tracking. Yeah,
so day 30 of our challenges, that's kind of amazing.
I know it is. I
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I figured I'd do it with you.
Hmm. The unity and oneness.
Yeah, I was gonna do it yesterday and I went, no, I think I want to do it with Ellie. And
Yeah,
then
that's
this morning I was gonna do it again and I put in like the little title that I usually put first.
yeah, I saw that.
And then I went, no, I forgot I was gonna do this with Ellie on the last day. So then I didn't record anything after it. I've been really thankful for this challenge. I feel like
Yeah.
uh, I feel like I feel like I'm going to need a few days in between this challenge and the next
Yes.
challenge
Yeah, that sounds
because
good.
I feel like some stuff is really shifting and unfolding since last Friday, and it's brought up a lot of stuff, like
Yeah.
stuff I didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still really processing that. I can feel like it's coming towards the end of that kind of, but I can still feel like there's a lot going on here in a
Is
good
it,
way.
oh, good. Yeah. Is it emotional stuff surfacing or?
Some of it, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, most definitely.
I know you were talking about that
Patterns,
last. Yeah.
behaviors, stuff that's bubbling to the surface I didn't know was there, that's bringing up, when you open up that closet door and you take out a couple of things, and then all of a sudden everything starts like
Everything
falling
falls
out.
out. Yeah. You're like, I didn't know this was still in here. Yeah.
that that is what that's what it's been like since last Friday.
Yeah.
I feel like everything's kind of come spilling out the closet, and
Yeah. That's when it's
as
good to
soon as
be.
one thing's picked up, there's like it reveals something else, and it's I want to say it's been really overwhelming, but in some ways I can't say that either because it's so, even though like this stuff has come up, and even though there's like some stuff is definitely falling away, that's for sure. Um, it's all being dealt with very differently.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah. That's
So
that's
I would like to
interesting.
say that this has been a horrible process and it sure has been uncomfortable and whatever, but I can't actually say that it's been a horrible
Yeah.
week. It's just been a lot to process. But that seems to be working all of itself out and leading to stuff
Yeah.
just going a lot deeper than it was before and being familiar with the unfamiliar of things, to just be
Mm,
really familiar with how that seems to feel,
yeah.
and being and just getting used to being there.
So if the mind
I
tries
think
to
you're I
tell us,
think you're going through the same thing. Like there's this place of I don't know now that's a
yeah.
lot deeper, and
Yeah.
it's okay. Like the mind is much more on board with the fact that
Yeah.
I
It
really
feels,
don't know. And at the same time, it's just being comfortable with just not knowing, and just being comfortable, and then being comfortable, and being, because this is really for unfamiliar territory.
yeah. I mean, the mind feeling certain is familiar territory, but where has that led? That's sort of where I've landed with it is as uncomfortable as it can feel to to face the unknown and the unfamiliar. In a way, it is there's a lot more spaciousness around that than there is with like I know everything is terrible. I know this and this. I know that, that kind of thing where that kind of certainty, even when it's a certainty of like, I know how reality works, like, um, that there was resistance about letting go of that effort. That was an example of something that I didn't realize that there was a sort of reliance on the mind's interpretation of things like cause and effect or
Mhm.
um it had just never been questioned. And yeah, it feels disorienting in the beginning to like when it comes to the unity and oneness, and form and formlessness and things like that that the mind really can't grasp. Um, there's definitely resistance in the beginning about going deeper because it feels disorienting. It feels like I still sometimes think about this, something Helen said, and I've heard her said before about, like, I think it even keeps coming up. Like, I'll just be watching a random video and somebody will ask a question about this, even though it's like an old video or whatever. It seems to like, at this point, I want to really see it, but it's the idea that, um, would we even see forms without the body? And there's something that like reacts to that, the idea of even, even when the body goes ultimately at the point of death, the idea is still there of something being scary about that. The idea of, well, then what's here? I just feel, then I can tell. But the interesting thing, I think what you're saying, like the reason it doesn't feel as overwhelming as it did for years is, there is just a seeing of that. When I was watching this video the other night and this came up, someone asked a question about death and Helen was very direct, and pointing to the formless awareness that we already are. And there was just a noticing that the mind was reacting, but it didn't feel like, well, I don't like this, I feel scared. It was more like, oh, the mind, I'm seeing the mind kind of move around in agitation at the thought of this, but I can kind of check in and see that I'm not actually feeling overwhelmed by it or freaking out or anything like that. There's more space around it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Something you said just a few moments ago about there's definitely like this willingness to want to see. Like there's a curiosity around that. It's like, well, if that's going to be here, then I want to see it fully. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's been stuff popping up and coming up, and it's been uncomfortable. Not horrible, but uncomfortable. But there's this curiosity that's like, well, what if you're going to be here? That's fine because you're here. It's already been accepted. That's how it is. Here we are, right? But then show me everything to that capacity.
Mm,
I want to really see to what end that is. I want to really see that then if that's going to be here. And I think I've also stopped asking the why. Why is that here again?
that
Which
seems
that was
huge.
a real big one before. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like really? No,
Yeah.
like no, why?
Yeah. I've noticed that
No,
too.
there's like forget the why
Yeah.
because here it is. It's already been accepted. It's already here. The why don't even matter
There's
anymore.
never been a satisfying answer to
No, and there
that
will never
anyway.
be a satisfying answer. Then again, then it comes back down to then show me. Then
Yeah.
I want to
That's
see
awesome.
like to whatever end that is, to whatever capacity that I can see this, like then I want to see to that capacity. I want to know, like I really want to know. And so curiosity has been really big. Um and love and compassion.
Mm.
Because if
So
there wasn't
that's,
that at the moment, there'd probably be an awful lot of judging, shaming,
I was just gonna say
self-blaming.
that. Yeah.
So there's like this deepening of what does it really mean to be this loving, compassionate, like what does that
Mm,
actually really mean at the moment to be that, not to have it, but to be it.
that's beautiful.
And seeing how that's unfolding. And I've even have said things this week since last Friday of things like I've heard thoughts like that. I really don't care. I don't care if it kills me this time. Like, I just want to know. I don't even really care what that means. I don't care if I die anymore. There's nothing here to die anyway. But to death's end, if that's what it's going to take, then I want to know this fully. I
Yes,
will do it
yeah,
if that's what it's going to take.
that strong determination.
So, like, that's new too, this thought. And it is a thought, but it runs deeper than a thought. It's like it really has some tangibility behind it. Like, I'm willing to take this bitch all the way. Like, if it's gonna I don't care if
Yeah,
it kills me at this point. Like, and that's not a judging place. That's just from a raw, honest,
yeah,
and knowing that whatever it is, it can't kill me anyway.
right,
And and everything's fine. There's not really a problem here.
right.
And I don't know. Stuff has been. I'm tired. I'm tired, but at the same time, I'm not. Does that make sense? It's like a
Yes.
different kind of tired.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'm guessing that there's just an acceptance that that's what's showing up,
Hmm. Hmm.
which actually is what the challenge, what the Unity and Oneness Challenge is about today. That total acceptance of everything that arises,
Yeah.
because it really is, it does become clear that the mind's tendency to judge is exactly where this feeling of separation comes from, because it's like there's me and then there's this that I'm judging, and that's not real. It is just a movement of the mind, and it feels very real and very compelling. I know times even when I've sat with you and we've been working through something like that, I have a really clear memory of sitting here and having that feeling of like, well, that feeling that separation, that familiar separation feeling, and thinking like but this is me. This is what I am. And it just feels so compelling. But I feel like it gets really strong like that before it really starts to dissolve for good. It is just seen more and more clearly that that separation was never real, has never been real. And that feeling of being separate it is just a feeling. It is just a collection of thoughts that create a collection of feelings. And more deep we go into self-inquiry and practices like that, the more clear that does become. And then things can arise still, and I've noticed that more and more that there's just a sense of, oh yeah, wait a minute, that actually can't be a problem. And there's just sort of a relaxation around it. There's less and less capacity to actually attempt to push something away or suppress something.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like somewhere this week there was like this I feel like this first of all this whole week since last Friday has been like a time warp like that
Mm,
I'm still trying to catch up to somehow. And I feel like um what's the word I want to use? I feel like so much is coming up and being processed that's what's making this feel kind of like a time warp.
mm,
And that when stuff really started breaking apart, the form and formlessness really started to like merge. They were already merged, but I had this moment where again, like there hasn't been like any official practice happening since last Friday, but it feels like every day, 24 hours a day, I'm just breathing something spiritual, let's say.
mm,
And so I think it's been like an ongoing practice. It just keeps looping. But I had this moment where I was just sitting. There's been a lot of spaciousness lately, like a lot. Sometimes it can seem like a lot. Like it's like I needed to back off a little. There's that back off a little bit thing again.
yeah.
And at one point, I don't know how, can't really explain it. It was like there was form and there was formless. And I was seeing how seamless everything is, so perfectly outtraced and aligned up together as form and formlessness that it couldn't even be any closer. And suddenly, like where everything connected, there was like this crack, I want to say, like a little crack that I could see that somehow in the mix, again, I think this is just layers, that there was form and then somehow formlessness became a something too. Like like I could almost see formlessness as clearly as I could see form. So somehow it's was objectified, I guess you could say, in some sort of way. Like, oh, there's form, there's formlessness. There's nothing here to be seen. There's empty space. But somehow that kind of cracked and I heard something say like, take your form and take your formlessness, and that edge where they meet, and then drop form out altogether. Just get rid of it. Just let it go. And now take your formlessness that is even harder to see without the form and let your label of formlessness go and what you
Mm,
think formlessness is and just let that go too. And I swore I could have saw like the two of them actually fall apart like two continents. And
mm,
then there was something way deeper. that that has no label. My mind
Yeah.
just really just stops
Mm.
right in its tracks when my idea of forms, which I can see, and my idea of the formlessness, which I can't see, but I can still see in contrast to forms that there's empty space, right? But if I take both labels, both ideas of both those things, and just let them both just go at the same time, what is that's left? And I haven't been able to unsee that since I've seen it. And I think that's why a lot of what's coming up right now is being approached very differently.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going through these periods of being really, really like neutral, like
Mm.
really neutral. When I say neutral, I mean like neutral. That's all I like an intense kind of neutral,
Mm.
which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And just kind of being okay with all these sensations because some of them are pretty up there and others are really, really subtle, but got their own juice, I guess, to it. It's been a very interesting week.
Mm.
Yeah. I even dropped out of the conscious imagining for a while. It was
Yeah.
just, it was a lot.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's like, oh, this is a lot. And there was probably again, because I went and looked just out of curiosity. Um, I went and looked at the last one I did, and when I opted, it was on the same day. It's like, oh,
Oh,
that's interesting, I thought. But um, I really didn't. It really didn't bother me as much as I thought it was going to. It's like I just need some time to deal with this other stuff, and that could have been avoidance, or it was probably a mixture of everything.
yeah. I mean, it does
But
have a way of
I have been doing it from time to time, and having my own little moments here and there of when the imagination of something positive would come up and some sort of story would play there. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I noticed in my journal I was looking through a couple of days ago and I noticed that it was interesting. It was we started, remember how we started the conscious imagining um at the same time as the dissolving the doer challenge, and then I was like, can we just focus on the dissolving the doer? This is just like it's like really intense for some reason. And I went back and was looking over this old journal and I saw how, because I was writing down a lot of these, like I was writing down, like I got to the day 30 abundance, um, and then started the conscious imagining and the dissolving the doer. And then like I started just writing down what I was feeling, which was things like, I don't understand the point of doing this. It doesn't feel good and I hate it. I hate everything. I'm very, very angry. And then I just like one day I just started writing. I don't know if you can see that. It's
yeah,
a lot of F-bombs because I actually wrote, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Why does everything always end up feeling bad? Um, And then I just started writing down like the things I used to love. And it was just all these things. It just filled up the whole page. And it just started being like so angry because there was just a sense of, because the thing about the conscious imagining is I felt like it was asking me to do something that I couldn't do anymore. I couldn't imagine life being better. I just felt completely, I felt like I had lost everything and couldn't get it back. And I'd written down practically those exact words at various points. Um, and so when I heard Helen describe that as the definition of grief, that that's the story that grief is trying to tell, that I've lost everything, I need to be happy, and there's no way to get it back. And it just clicked like that this was something that was surfacing that needed to be seen. And I still can't really put my finger on what it is about the conscious imagining that brings up something like that, brings up a pattern like that. I don't know what it is, but it does make total sense to um yeah, I needed to like let that kind of just be there for a while without trying to force anything, like trying to
Mm-hmm.
force myself to feel good, trying to force myself to imagine things, just like focus on the dissolving the doer challenge, which we did end up doing, and then I was able to get deeper into that. And then by the time we started the conscious imagining the second time, it still was bringing up that resistance and that sense of like, I don't want to do this, I can't do this. But there was more of by that time, there was more of a sense of like, well, I'm just going to do it anyway. And if I can just stick it out for 30 days, we're just going to see what's happening, what will happen, So there does end up being um, that kind of openness to just be willing to try something different because there's just what we have been doing hasn't been working. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's really important to give ourselves that space. I think that is an act of self-love and self-compassion when it's like, I'm going to acknowledge that I have a lot of stuff surfacing right now that just wants to be seen. And Helen even says with the conscious imagining that if you're not already feeling good, it's kind of counterproductive,
Yeah,
because yeah.
yeah, for sure. But I noticed, like, even when that happened, like before, there would have been a lot of backstory going on about how
Yeah.
bad that was, or, failed at it again, or I don't know, whatever
Yeah,
story
same
would have
old
came up,
radio
you know what I
station
mean?
playing in the
And
background. Yeah.
there really wasn't,
Yeah, that's
you know,
good.
or if there was, then I didn't really pay much mind to it. So, um,
Exactly.
either way, I guess then it wasn't. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing. If it doesn't have the effect that it used to have, then it really is just there to be seen so that it can dissolve fully.
yeah,
I mean, without the attention going to it automatically, that is what actually happens.
yeah, and at some point this week, I got this really loud message, of which was interesting, that said to me that it's okay to be happy and healthy.
Mm.
I don't know where that came from, but just out of the blue, there was just this saying that came up really loud, and it was just, it's okay for you to be happy and healthy.
Mm. Wow.
And I thought that was really interesting when that came up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a thought, does it? It's not with
no, it
it's
just
not with the
really bubbled
mind.
to the surface, and
Yeah.
something, like really caught my attention because it was like pretty just a quick. really loud blurb that I just could not hear, even if I didn't want to. And it's not something I would have normally thought of myself in any capacity. So it kind of
Yeah. That's not the story the
dumbstruck
mind
me
is
a little bit. No,
usually
yeah.
generating. Yeah. It's
And it's just been like also just a lot of being lost for words.
mm,
Like I'll be talking and suddenly there's like just nothingness. And I just go really quiet. It's kind of bizarre that it happens. And it was bothering me at first
mm,
because it seems weird. And then I don't know, over the past week, it's just fine. Everything just seems to be fine. There's like this really deep state of being really neutral with a lot of stuff.
right.
And and it can kind of feel a little bit like being detached, but not being detached because you're very aware.
Mm,
So you can't be attached
yeah.
or detached, sorry.
Or it's a detachment, but not what the mind has predicted it was going to be like. The mind feels like it means being like unfeeling and closed off. And that's
Yeah,
not what it is
but
when
it's
it's
not what
coming
it
from
is.
that natural state of the awareness is to be unattached, but that doesn't mean being like cold and distant. It's the opposite of distant.
Yeah.
It's there. It's fully there all the time. So yeah, it's just not involved in the way that the mind has categorized as being somehow more real or more true to ourselves or something like that. That kind of falls away, and it's seen that real intimacy and real presence is only possible um, when there is no longer that identification with thoughts and feelings, but simply just this open presence that's fully allowing everything to be here without creating the dis it's because it's actually thoughts that create that distance from what's here. It's interesting that that's the case, but yeah, when that's not there as a sort of veil or screen, then yeah, even though there's not a sense of like personal involvement, it's like yeah, there's also not the separation of being being a person who's contracted and over here and looking at everything out there, like that all sort of collapses, and it's just um yeah,
And then there's
everything's
like a noticing of that too, like really quickly. Like if there is a contraction happening in any sort of kind of way, there's like a really that happens just really fast. Like that's noticed that there's a contraction somewhere
yeah,
in some
yeah.
way, and that it's questioned like right away.
Mm,
Like
yes,
everything's being questioned right away.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's like an automatic thing. I don't know how many times this week, the question just arose of who is talking and talking to whom. Like that's a big one that's come up. Like who's talking right now and whom are they talking to? And that like instantly just even asking that question just shuts everything down. Or something will come up and there's like this neutral feeling and maybe a thought of you're just disassociated, right? And then there'd be like Okay, maybe I am dissociated. Then who's dissociated then? Let me see
Mm,
that person. Show me
yeah,
that one then. Okay, maybe I am. Maybe you're right. Maybe I am dissociated. Okay, then show me. Show me where this dissociated person is right now then.
yeah,
Right? Like just random stuff like that. Like that's not something I would even just constantly happening. Um, and every time it happens, it just kind of shuts down everything. Like, what's the mind got to say to that? Nothing. I was like,
mm,
okay, great. They just agreed that I could be dissociated. I won that battle. Wait a minute. I gotta find that person. Wait, hold on. Um, so it just seems to go quiet every time some sort of self-inquiry comes up like that, which is happening a lot. I'm just kind of shutting everything down and being comfortable with the fact that everything is kind of shutting down sometimes.
yeah. It always
And
comes back to that question again, doesn't it? How would this affect me if I were formless?
yeah,
And when that question is asked with a real curiosity of it does make the mind's familiar stories just sort of fall apart. Because all of its sense of this is a problem, that's a problem. Um, I need to warn you about this. Like all of that is coming from that self-protective place that has broken down more and more when it's seen that there's not a separate self to actually protect. And
yeah,
though that momentum behind the mind continuing to do that, to say like, no, this is a bad idea. Um you're not seeing the bad things that are going to happen if you keep on this path, whatever it is, that is just habit. It is just mental habit. And it is good to just see it, it was unconscious for such a long time. But once you're conscious of it, it takes on a totally different flavor because there isn't that seeming experience of getting lost in the mind stories.
yeah. And there's been like this serious deepening of opposites, like seeing opposites everywhere in
Mm,
language and form and not form, and that everything is in opposites. But, but where I, but where I was seeing opposites before in the past week, and I think this has been unfolding. We've talked about this before, but in the past week for sure, like, opposites are just the exact same thing. That doesn't, like, and it's so clear again, like, once you really see it, you can't unsee it. It's like, up, down, sad, happy, form, formlessness, like here and there, and him and her, and like there's a reason why there is opposites. This seems to be opposite, and it's just showing us that they're the exact same thing. And I think I really learned that from looking at form and formlessness this week, where everything really is the same thing. There's really no two things. There's just this contrast. That's what that is. It's just contrast. but it's the same one true self.
Mm.
And when that starts I want to say orienting deeper, that can be a little not off-putting, but like wait a minute. I need a minute. I need a minute to adjust here for a second. You know what I mean? Like, because then it brings again with this real deep neutral kind of situation with it, that what appears to be form and formlessness are actually that whole same, the opposite ends of the exact same coin, which makes they counter each other out. Like one's no less real than the other at that point. It's like you really
Yeah.
start coming full circle. You know, you go from I'm a person to I'm not a person, I'm formlessness. This is real and this is not real, even though this was
Yeah.
real before, to
Yeah.
actually, there's nothing there. This is just of the senses. Without the senses, none of this would even have any kind of a language whatsoever for itself. There would be nothing here without the senses. We'd be like going to sleep in a coma, or at sleep at night. There would be like
There'd be an
this
awareness
amness.
of
There'd just be this
nothing.
amness of things. You know what I
There'd be
mean?
an
Like
awareness of no form.
there's
Yeah.
no form,
No
just
experience.
no experience, just being the presence
And
that
that's where
is.
the mind, I've noticed the mind reacts to that, like with some there's a reactivity there of like, I don't like that, but it is clear that that is what's already true. It's already true that
It's
that is
already true.
what we are. Um, and it's just becoming clearer that that's the case, that the noumenon is already what we are. There isn't actually any transformation happening or switch over or anything like that. That's all of the mind to
Yeah.
be perceiving anything that way.
Yeah. Or like this week, I don't know, I was in some, I think it was with Candy, I think. Not 100% sure. But we were talking about something, and I can't exactly remember what we were talking about, but she made a comment about something, and um, there was like this deep seeing now, more so than before, of when something arrives or something shows up, and the fact of it not even have to be accepted or unaccepted anymore, because it is here. It's already been accepted. Like at one point, like that had crossed my mind of, oh, here we go again. You want me to accept this? I don't want to accept this. Like, and it was like, who's accepting this or not accepting this? There's nobody here for that to happen. Like, and it is already here. So who needs to accept this? Because it's already here, so it's already been accepted. You're just seeing it, and that's it. There is no acceptance or unacceptance anymore either. It's just it is here. They're done deal. It's been accepted. It's here. Move on from there.
Yeah,
And
that's the only place to start from.
yeah, I can either really look at that or have the story tale start filling in the blanks. You know what I mean? That's like my new thing too this week, this story tale of stuff. And some of it's really neat to know and compelling about patterns or whatever. And once upon a time, I would have just wanted to have lived in that
Hmm.
because knowledge feels good, knowledge about yourself. But I noticed this week that if I got something in the first blurb, let's say, of information, instead of continually being listening to that radio of the story of, Tanya Tale, um, I it's not as important. It just doesn't hold that much meat. I noticed many times when that was happening and just being suddenly I was just more interested in being,
Hmm.
even my own information, of whatever the story was surrounding that particular topic, you know. So that's been interesting. This has all been quite an adjustment because this feels very, very different, foreign,
Mhm.
like a different kind of. I've had moments this week where I just went, I can't live like this. Like this is how do you
Sorry.
how do you live like this? You know,
Right.
and that's just the thought. It's like that's just the thought. It's already happening.
Yeah. Right. Did you did something happen with your volume or the sound?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I noticed it sounds a little echoey.
Somebody was trying to call me and it cut my
Oh, okay.
feed out, I think.
Okay.
They called like twice in a row. Is that
Yeah.
better now?
Yeah, it is better now.
Okay, good. I don't know. There's just been a lot unfolding, I think, and just seeing what was already there, but seeing also just the little, I don't know how some of this snuck in there, but it did. It's just not a layers, just more layers.
Yeah.
Mm, it'll be interesting what it'll be interesting. Life is getting interesting. I feel so discombobulated lately. Can you tell?
Yeah, I mean, it's
But in a good way.
yeah, that's the thing. It's
Before I'd probably be panicking right now or feeling really sorry for myself. I don't know, crying, have a mental breakdown. I don't really know. That's not happening right now. It's just curiosity, a lot of laughing, a lot of crying, but also a lot of laughing. Like, what is this whole fucking show? Like,
well
and we'll
that
never really know. That's the thing. That's the kicker. Like,
yeah, that there's
this will
something that sort
always
of
be like going deeper, like
yeah,
always. Like, that's
yeah,
not ever going to stop. Like, what does that even mean? And
but there's
I
less
don't
mental
know.
activity of trying to figure that out or wanting to,
We're
it's
needing to.
yeah.
Like, it's starting to calm down a little bit there.
Yes.
which is weird too, but nice, but weird. It's still weird. Or, when it's playing and it's just suddenly you're just way more interested in formlessness, and that really does just goes into the background immensely. Um, Again, there's like this neutrality that comes in. It's well, everything has its counterpart there. It's opposite. Everything has an opposite. And if I want to hold on to something good, then I'm going to have the other end of that string as well. And if I'm going to suffer, then at some point the tides are going to shift because they have to, because there's a counterpart. But in some ways, that counterpart has or is being replaced with this really, really deep neutral kind of feeling. Well, then I'm sitting here in the middle where I don't have to deal with this counterpart and this counterpart, because actually they're the same counterpart. So it's, where is the opposite in that standpoint? There is none.
Yeah, the Numenon doesn't see opposites.
No. Which again just creates this real sense of neutrality that's
Equanimity.
happening.
Yeah.
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 And again, when that really started happening this week, like really the walls of Jericho falling down, let's say, um, that's completely different than seeing things the way they were seen before. And things are still being seen exactly like they were before, but they are not.
Hmm.
Like, it's not like suddenly I'm looking at that plant and I'm not seeing a plant. Of course, I'm seeing the plant. But when I'm looking at that plant, before what used to be the foreground being plant and then noticing the background, and then suddenly the background was more noticeable than the plant itself. You're right. Like they switched positions to suddenly neither one seemed to apply. They're both completely equal,
Hmm.
which can be weird. And something in here, you can kind of feel it panic a little bit.
Hmm.
It's like, and it's getting used to that panic being there a little bit, and being okay with that panic might never actually disappear. Maybe there will be something always that will panic a little bit about what's transpiring here, and being okay whether that goes or whether it stays. Does
Well,
it
it's that
actually
very
change
stance
anything?
that
No.
will allow it to go. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's that it's that acceptance that allows things to shift. I mean, it's only when we're pushing against something um or believing the story that we can do something about anything, that that's the very movement that creates that sense of whatever, believing whatever story, the attention going to whatever story, that's why it will be reflected either as an internal feeling or as some kind of experience. But like whatever story that panic is trying to tell, that can be questioned
Hmm.
too, you know.
Hmm.
Is it really true I'm not safe?
Yeah.
And then more and more the answer is just the formlessness, the spaciousness. And there's just a resting in that. It's what's already
And that
always
panic
is
is also
so.
that, like the panic or the pain's not even separate from that. That's just
Yeah.
that's how I'm appearing in that moment.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not, there's not anything saying, um, I don't want this here. I hate this. I can't do that. Like all of that is just thought, you know. It's
Hmm.
and that there's just less and less energy flowing into those old grooves. And that just
Hmm.
happens more and more.
Speaking of which, did you see Helen's um, posting about the Acharya program?
Yeah, I did.
I was so excited. Oh, I was like a little kid in a Christmas store. It's like, oh my God, it's here. She posted it. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah,
When we're able to, I'm going to apply,
yeah,
see where it takes me.
yeah, yeah. I wondered about that.
Because she did mention, for those who wanted to teach and those who don't.
Yeah,
And I know from other meetings with other Acharya people there present that some took one route and some took the other. But I'm just excited that it's opening.
yeah. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't sure what the timeline was for any of that. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's an opportunity to go deeper.
Hmm. Have you thought about it, Ellie?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've even thought about doing conscious imagining around it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like it's interesting because I started watching the video with a sense of like, oh, this is exciting. I really want to see what Helen has to say about this because was starting to feel drawn to that. But I had no idea. Like it was just sort of background thing. I had no idea what the timeline was for any of it. Um,
Excuse me.
and then when she posted it, there was a sense of like, oh, I really want to know about this. And then I actually stopped watching it halfway through, and there was a sense of like, yeah, I don't know about this, and just kind of walked away from it. And then I don't know if it was when I was falling asleep that night or what, but there was a sense of like, well, I'm gonna finish watching the video and just get the information and see what the deal is with it. So yeah, there's time to sort of sit with it and see how it feels,
Hmm.
um, since it's not until I can't remember the timeline now, but it's off in the future a little bit. So
Hmm. Yeah, this has been an interesting week.
Do you want to do the unity and oneness
Yes,
challenge?
I actually have it open right here. All right,
Perfect.
I already read it, so I'll read the question in the title.
Okay.
Day 30. Sagehood is the ability and the willingness to destroy all definitions as soon as they form. Today we will ask, what is beyond the ideas of form and formlessness? What is beyond the ideas of form and formlessness? That's what's been playing out for me this week
Hmm.
in a way, well, in a big way. What's beyond the ideas of form and formlessness? I have no idea. Whenever both of those labels and ideas are dropped, what remains? I have absolutely no idea what that is. None whatsoever. I kind of just get lost into whatever abyss that is. And the only thing I can say about that is the only reason I can even possibly be aware of whatever that is that I'm recognizing myself
Yeah.
because the mind can't say anything here
Right.
at all. And nothing can be formed about this. So I have to be aware that I'm just aware of myself. This is what I actually have to be is whatever this is. And as long as there is a form, I'm never going to really know what that is. And I am all that. So the possibility of that forever unfolding is that possibility because it just doesn't have an end. And whatever that even means to be this abyss of whatever. There's just a curiosity that remains like,
Hmm.
like a kid digging through a toy box that's loaded with stuff and like twice the size they are, where they're hanging over the edge, with their arms dangling in the toy box, rooting and rummaging, and your feet can't touch the floor on the other side because you're too short. I guess it would be kind of like that, a curiosity of my feet can't touch the ground, and I don't really know what I'm grasping at and all this stuff, but it's all the same thing. And when both labels of everything is dropped, like it drops everywhere, it's not just in the mind not being able to formulate a sentence here. It's if I lose all labels and assumptions about forms and formlessness, then it all drops. And then there's no assumption that could be made.
Mm.
There's just this vast, I have no idea. And this capacity here is way bigger than I can ever imagine. Um, to suddenly be okay with that idea. It's getting less and less kind of freaky.
Yeah.
And then there would be a noticing that too, you know, whatever felt freaky or doesn't feel freaky anymore, that's also part of this moving beyond the idea of form and formlessness. That's just an appearance. An appearance of what? I have no fucking idea. I really don't. It's just an appearance, so it has nothing to do with me. There it is. And there's a lot more of that going on. Of, oh, there it is. Mm, there it is. Mm. You know? Okay. That's what we're going with now. That's the story tale. Okay. I think I know less. Way, way less. This like has stripped away this challenge of any idea I've had of anything, let's just say. If I had an
Yeah.
idea about something, it took it away. At some point, it's been removed. And now I really am starting to be in a place of really don't know anything about anything, like really.
Yeah, it's interesting how again it wasn't even seen or realized how much there was sort of a conceptual understanding of things, and not until there's really direct pointers like this of um just seeing it again and again, and yeah, not wanting that anymore, not wanting the familiarity of concepts or labels, because it's just see more and more clearly that um that is just through the filter of the mind, and there's a real desire to just be what is real and see what is real, and to be willing to um not hang out there anymore, hang out with so-called conceptual knowledge, because it turns out to not be any kind of real knowledge. There isn't anything stable or permanent about it. It's sort of a house of cards, right? It reminds me of Jesus has this parable about a foolish man building his house on sand, and storms come and it just falls apart, and the wise man builds his house on rock, and nothing can shake it, nothing can affect it. And that is the noumenon. We try to build some sense of certainty or some sense of identity on concepts or labels, and it just falls apart over and over again. And at some point, it becomes clear of like, I'm not doing that anymore. Um, it's not leading anywhere. As much as the mind can feel disoriented of letting go of the labels, of saying like, oh, this is disorienting, there's nowhere to put my foot, there's nothing, this is unsafe. It actually is the only thing that can lead to real safety, because nothing can affect the awareness, nothing, um,
Yeah, it's been like that the whole time. It's not like anything
yeah,
actually changed. Like
exactly.
there's just something that seems like it's slowly being okay with the fact that things have always been this way, just never seen before. You know what I mean?
Or it hasn't been seen. Um, yeah, it's whatever is obscuring that seeing and seeming to create an experience of um of separation or of yeah, yeah, it's just happening on its own, that dissolving. And there is more and more of just a sense of okayness with it, of that sense of, yeah, nothing is actually happening, nothing is actually changing or transforming. That's all how it appears, or to say, I'm not changing or transforming. There's the experience is changing, but it just becomes more and more clear that I'm not the one experiencing it. It's just an experience that's unfolding and I'm seeing it, but it's not something that's separate, it's for the longest time that's how it appears and how it feels. It's like there's a person here that's experiencing something out there, but that division isn't actually there in actuality.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting when that wall starts to really start being seen through. This is a very different video than we usually have. Uh, has it been nice there? It's been nice here.
The weather, yeah. Yeah, it's not too hot or anything. It feels really good.
You guys had a lot of smoke too.
Yeah, it was for several days. I can't remember how long, but yeah, I remember the first day it was really noticeable. It looked surreal outside, because it was overcast and there was just like this strange tinge to everything. Um, and that didn't last, but there was still, yeah, there was still the air quality wasn't good. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, my daughter sent me a photo um of her window from where she was living, and she says, "Mom, it's you know what this looks like? It looks like that camera that I guess there's like this camera filter that you can put on that's kind of yellowish, sort of."
Yeah, it's like a sepia tone. That's exactly what
Yeah,
it looks
she
like. That's
that's what
right.
she said
Yeah.
to me, and it's like, "Oh my God, you're right. It
Yeah,
does look like that."
that was actually how I noticed that something was unusual because I was just sitting here in the morning and noted I don't remember what made me check my phone, but I saw that it was the air quality and having lived in this part of New York State for s several years now, that's like it was like, oh, that's what it is. Because I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, that it was like really bad for quite a while and where you just couldn't even go outside. It just wasn't safe. And so it wasn't as bad as that this time, but it was still, yeah, several days of feeling like, yeah, I don't actually want to open my windows or go outside, there's sort of that, yeah, the air doesn't feel healthy. So
Mhm. No, had a lot of air warnings up here. The first day, oh man, first day and the second day, the smell of smoke was whoo. But
yeah,
yeah, it wasn't good air quality here either.
yeah. So yeah, it's for the last few days at least it's been okay though. So um it started getting improve a little bit and now it seems like it's good. So I was out and about yesterday and it felt totally normal. So
Hmm.
um yeah, we had some kind of really severe like storms as well. So that's always a little bit surreal. We had a tornado warning,
Oh,
and
well.
there were very heavy winds, very heavy rains, and so yeah, it just felt like a lot was going on. So um, and this yesterday when I don't drive every day since I work at home, and yesterday when I went out to my car, I noticed that my passenger side front window was rolled down, which is unusual. I don't know how I did that and then didn't notice it, but I was like, I don't know. I think it was open during that storm, so was surprised there wasn't like debris everywhere because there was like branches coming off the trees, and so it might have gotten wet, but it dried. And by the time I was down there, and it didn't seem to have done any damage, so I was just sort of relieved. So I was like, how did I leave my window open? There's literally a branch that came. I was standing in the kitchen, I saw it happen. A huge branch came down and there's like a shed and it hit the roof of that and slid down and there's um there's a tenant that lives downstairs from me and her she was at work, she was in her work vehicle and her regular vehicle was sitting there and it came really close to just slamming into it.
Caution it.
So yeah, but that didn't so yeah, it felt like we were protected to some extent because there was just all kinds of chaos happening, but it doesn't seem to have done any lasting damage.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, now it just seems peaceful outside. So for
Yeah.
the time being, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's um it's nice and quiet right now. So it's been a nice and quiet weekend.
Hmm.
I haven't really been going a lot of places or doing a lot. It's like what when the air was feeling unhealthy, there was just a sort of like, well, I'll just stay home. And now I'm kind of still in that mode of but I've seen how that can shift really suddenly, where I'll just feel like there's not so for quite some time, there was a feeling of really overwhelming fear and dread. And it just felt very challenging to go anywhere, be around people. And at some point, that was one of those things that, I did some contemplation around, and I'm continuing to do that. So it's just sort of unfolding. Um, it feels good to do conscious imagining around it, to see that, yeah, whatever there is there, whatever residual sense there still is that other people aren't safe or wanting to kind of cocoon or whatever. Like there's just kind of an acceptance of that. But at the same time, a desire to really question whatever story there is. It feels like something very unconscious that has surfaced to be seen because there's always some of my earliest memories are feeling very unsafe, I'll say, around others and wanting to be alone, really strong desire to be alone and to not be interacting with others. And then like at a certain point when I was older, there was a real desire to have experiences. I was very sheltered growing up, and there was a real desire to not let that constrict my life experience or hold me back. And so there was a real forcing of like, I am going to go out, I'm going to have an interesting life, I'm going to move away, I'm going to whatever. But in order to do that, there is like a suppression of the fear that's coming up. It was never really dealt with or seen or anything. So now it's interesting to have it surface, but to see the story behind it's one of the stories in Helen's book. What is it? Transcending the Mind. She says there were just those seven stories.
Transcending the mind, yeah.
Yeah, and one of those is something like I'm separate from other people, or I don't remember word for word what it is, um but yeah, there's just a wanting to see that really clearly, to really um just keep questioning it until it's fully dissolved.
Yeah, I've had the same experience feeling like this cocooning, but not in a bad way, not like before where it was like avoiding people and
Yeah,
needing to be like solitude. No, it's not like that. I
yeah.
feel like with the stuff that is coming up that it's calling for a certain amount of solitude.
Yeah,
And there's a deeper seeing or a deepening of some things because of that solitude.
yeah.
Like when I say in the past, we're gonna say since Friday for sure, last Friday. When I say that practices have fallen away, I really mean that. There's been the 30-day challenge. Every once in a while, I'll pick up a book and write whatever. But for the most part, it's been like a continuous absorption of the teachings, being in a constant state of almost like meditative. So I feel like it's not like running to be by myself because of old habits. It's more like that's what's being called for. It's to
Yeah,
really go deeply internal. And there is a serious amount of questioning going on about everything that's gotten heightened, I think. And a lot of just sitting, just
yeah,
sitting with stuff without the commentary or even with the commentary, but just being in this completely neutral kind of position, seeing it all happening, right? And being comfortable with what's left. And
yeah,
it's been interesting. It's almost like right now it's easier to be alone too, because it feels like there's so much going on all the time. Surprisingly, it's not overwhelming. It's just
mm,
something will come up, something will question, something will come up, something will be seen. So like it's like a like there's a fermenting going on.
Mm,
And then there's also been what feels like, mourning for
mm,
herself that I once believed in,
yeah.
or or something. There's also been like this kind of sense of mourning happening too. Mourning what I'm not exactly sure, but nonetheless, that's what it feels like. Like, and it's just getting harder to believe stuff. So there's this mourning going on about that whole process, I guess, this of things changing and being different in their own kind of way. Still the same but different. It's a statement I used to use from the past when I would be seeing something other people weren't seeing. It's like, oh, it still looks the same, but there's something else here. It's like that kind of thing. But mhm. It looks like you're having the same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot less fear. It really does feel okay. Like it feels okay to just be in this kind of um sort of simple day to day, without needing to change anything about it. It's with the conscious imagining, there's been a real shift in energy to where there used to be a lot of um just a lot of negative, low vibration type of energies, emotions, thoughts, and a lot of feeling really overwhelmed by that, not knowing what to do about it. And it feels like the Dissolving the Doer challenge really helped lay the groundwork for seeing that there actually, spoiler alert, there's nothing you can do about it. It's the very belief that there's something you can do about it that keeps perpetuating that because um it's really perpetuating that feeling of being a separate being who can do something about it. And the instant that's sort of seen, it does start to shift. It starts to shift more and more on its own. So it really feels quite different. I didn't even realize how many stories were still there. Like the thing about the whole doer thing, it gets to a point where like it's time for it to dissolve, because obviously like for most of us in the first part of life, um, that sense of doing feels productive. It feels like, it doesn't necessarily feel um it feels empowering even, like I'm going to change my situation. I'm going to, if it felt terrible from the beginning, everybody would be on a spiritual path from jump,
Yeah.
there seems to be a process that happens of attempting to change the outside world or to self-improve, to fix. For me, that was where a lot of the energy was. Like it seemed like I'm going to become a different person. I'm going to be more disciplined, or I'm going to be whatever. And at some point that just kind of falls apart, and there's just this sense of like this isn't working, and so there can be a real sense of disempowerment from that, a sense of I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to fix this. I can't fix it anymore. And or I can't even try, and it's just I don't see how it can get better. And but that's what's sort of been seen, like why that has manifested, and the more that story and other stories are questioned, the more clear it is that yeah, really anything is possible when we're not believing in any stories, or when the attention's not going to that. And um there is more of a willingness to just be curious about. So like every time there's sort of something that arises that says, how is any of this conscious imagining stuff? How can that happen if you're not doing anything to make it happen? If you're just sitting here every day, just having this like totally uneventful life, how can any of this shift? How can it change? And it's like that's just kind of seen every time at this point of like, yeah, I'm dropping that. It's just um not a thought I'm interested in entertaining anymore, because it's totally invested in this idea of a doer, that doing is what changes things and what makes things happen. And I don't think that's true. So it's just it has been interesting to just sort of watch that dissolve more and more, and to just be willing to be surprised. Because I really do, I've really taken it to heart what Helen said in that challenge, that as long as we're feeling good, we're open, and feeling good, it's become clear that feeling good, feeling okay really isn't the challenge that the mind had made it out to be, that really is our default state, you know. Um, we're already that total um total acceptance, total allowing. Um, so yeah, there's just a greater and greater willingness to question even those stories that feel really, really familiar and have been around for a long time.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I've had a lot of this, again, this, when something would come up, it's like, who needs to accept this? Isn't it already been accepted? It's here. Like, what do you think you need to do with this? Like, who needs to think they need to do something with this? Um, just having that seep in more and
Yeah.
more too, that there's not even anything here to accept. It's already a done deal. It's here.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
Right? Now what? Nothing. Here it is. It's just being seen. Does it have something, accompanying it? Sensation, feeling, whatever. And then again, like, what? Well, nothing. It's just also being seen. Like, it's not really my problem. There's no problem.
Yeah, it's different when things are seen from the awareness versus through the filter of the mind. Um, there's a lot of things that I felt that had been seen. It felt like, in fact, that like all I do is keep seeing it, but what I'm seeing is the same thing over and over and over again, but it really is different when it's more and more clear that whatever the mind is doing, whatever story it's telling, that there's just a seeing of that. It's not it just isn't believed. We lose our capacity to believe in that story, or to, the attention on its own goes more and more to um what isn't moving and changing, and that's where we see that we're already this piece, we're already um this allowing, um and so yeah, that it just we it's just something that needs to be seen again and again,
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever story the mind is telling of needing things to be different, or anything that has that energy of resistance, like it's just there's less and less a sense of that being personal, it doesn't feel like
It's losing
my
its personhood.
resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something that's arising in this moment, and um it doesn't feel personal anymore. It doesn't feel like it belongs to me. Um and so it's much less intense. It's much less um it's really clear what I've heard many spiritual teachers say, that it's in resisting the resistance, or having that sense that it shouldn't be here. This is a failure. This is a sign that something's going wrong. Um, it just like piles more and more onto the resistance. It's like snowballs, but when that's not happening anymore, when there's not that energetic momentum behind that anymore, it's like it just arises and then moves through the system. And um, it just becomes more and more clear that nothing has to hang around forever. It doesn't have to take weeks or months or years for something to move through the system. When there's no interacting with it, it's like it just um dissolves back into the awareness without anything kind of prolonging it, or yeah, that's just something that's become more clear.
Mhm. Agreed. Well, I suppose I need to go get dressed and stuff. I have my
Okay.
son's coming over today,
Oh, nice.
or he's supposed to.
Good.
Hopefully he comes today. That'd be nice. I haven't seen him for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Um, okay, Ellie.
All
I'll
right.
see you Wednesday.
Yeah, that sounds good. And yeah, we'll just touch base. But yeah, it sounds good to just take a couple of days to, yeah, just let the practice sort of settle, and yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
this
reconvene.
one was I really kind of sad to see this one go.
Yeah, well, we can always do it again at some point.
Most definitely. Yeah.
I've really come to appreciate the power of these 30-day challenges. There's just something about being able to stay with something every day like this through every up and down, and it really is, it's amazing. So I'm grateful for
All right.
having a buddy to do it with. So
Me,
um
me too. Time is our next one. Let's see what
yeah,
time brings us.
that'll be very, very interesting. So yeah, we'll just play it by ear
Okay.
when we're
Bye,
there.
Ellie.
All right, bye. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.